Christmas morning, 1996. 6-year-old JonBenét Ramsey was found dead in her own home. A strange ransom note, confusing evidence, and no clear answers. For over 25 years, people have asked, who killed JonBenét? Was it someone in her family, or an intruder who slipped inside that night? Watch until the end, because the shocking details in this case will change the way you see the whole story.
Welcome to the Dark Case File TV, the home of dark mysteries, unsolved crimes, and chilling stories from around the world. Here, we uncover the cases that shock, haunt, and remain unanswered, even decades later. If you're fascinated by true crime and cold cases, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive investigation. Christmas is supposed to be a season of joy, but for the Ramsey family in Boulder, Colorado, Christmas of 1996 became the beginning of a nightmare that still haunts America to this day. In the early hours of December 26th, a frantic 911 call reported a child missing. 6-year-old JonBenét Ramsey. A ransom note demanding $118,000 was left behind. But just hours later, JonBenét was discovered dead in the basement of her own home. Was it a kidnapping gone wrong? A crime committed by a stranger who slipped in undetected? Or did the truth lie within the Ramsey household itself? For over 25 years, this case has puzzled investigators, split the public, and left behind more questions than answers. This is the unsolved murder of JonBenét Ramsey. Welcome to the Dark Case File TV, where we dive into true crime mysteries that continue to disturb and fascinate. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our deep dives into the darkest unsolved cases. And as we go through this case, I want to hear from you. Do you believe JonBenét was killed by someone inside her home? Or do you think the real killer has never been caught? Share your theory in the comments. I'll be reading them. To understand the tragedy, we have to start with the family. JonBenét Patricia Ramsey was born on August 6, 1990, in Atlanta, Georgia. She was the youngest child of John and Patsy Ramsey. Her father, JonBenét Ramsey, was a successful businessman. As the president of Access Graphics, a computer services company, he had recently celebrated the company reaching over $1 billion in sales. The family lived in luxury. Their Boulder, Colorado home was a sprawling 7,500 square foot mansion filled with expensive furnishings, holiday decorations, and everything money could buy. Her mother, Patricia "Patsy" Ramsey, was a former beauty queen. She won the title of Miss West Virginia in 1977 and was known for her glamour and strong personality. For Patsy, JonBenét wasn't just her little girl. She was a star in the making. By the age of 6, JonBenét was already a rising figure in child beauty pageants. With her blonde curls, big blue eyes, and sparkling smile, she often walked away with crowns and trophies. She became a familiar face in pageant circles. To some, she embodied the all-American girl. But pageant life was controversial. The images of a young child in makeup and glittering costumes would later fuel endless debate in the media. Still, behind the stage lights and the trophies, JonBenét was just a little girl. She loved playing with her older brother Burke, decorating for Christmas, and spending time with her family. The Ramseys appeared to have it all: wealth, prestige, a beautiful home, and 2 children. But on Christmas of 1996, everything shattered. Narrator: December 25th, 1996. The Ramseys celebrated Christmas with friends. They returned home to their Boulder mansion and went to bed, preparing for a trip to Michigan the next morning. In the early hours of December 26th, just before 6 a.m., Patsy Ramsey awoke and went downstairs. That's when she noticed a strange piece of paper on the staircase. It was a ransom note, 2.5 pages long. The note demanded $118,000 in exchange for JonBenét's safe return. It instructed the Ramseys not to call the police and claimed the child had been taken by a foreign faction. Panicked, Patsy dialed 911 at 5:52 a.m. Her voice on the call was frantic, pleading for help. Police arrived quickly, but from the very start, mistakes were made. Friends and neighbors were allowed into the house. Evidence was compromised. and crucial details were overlooked. Hours passed, and though the ransom note demanded that John collect money and await further instructions, no kidnapper called. Then, at around 1:05 p.m., John Ramsey made a horrifying discovery. Searching the basement, he entered a small utility room. There, on the cold floor, was JonBenét's body. She was covered with a white blanket. A piece of duct tape was on her mouth. A garrote, a homemade strangulation device made from a cord and a broken paintbrush handle, was around her neck. Her wrists had been bound. John carried her upstairs, effectively contaminating the scene further. But the tragedy was undeniable. JonBenét Ramsey was dead. The autopsy revealed the chilling details. JonBenét's official cause of death was asphyxiation due to strangulation, along with a severe skull fracture caused by a blow to the head. The medical examiner also found possible signs of sexual assault. However, this remains controversial. Some argue that there was clear evidence of trauma. Others believe the findings were inconclusive, possibly consistent with chronic irritation rather than assault. DNA testing revealed traces of an unknown male's DNA on JonBenét's underwear and leggings. Importantly, the DNA did not match any family members. The ransom note itself became one of the most scrutinized pieces of evidence in American crime history. At nearly 400 words long, it was unusually detailed. Handwriting analysis divided experts. Some said it matched Patsy Ramsey's style. Others said she could be ruled out. The note also demanded $118,000, a number suspiciously close to John Ramsey's recent bonus. Was that coincidence? Or did the writer know intimate details of the family's finances? The house itself showed little sign of forced entry. One basement window was broken, but John admitted he had broken it himself months earlier after locking himself out. The case was already tangled, and investigators were split from the very beginning. Two main theories emerged. Theory 1, the parents did it. Many investigators believed Patsy or John, or perhaps even Burke, were responsible. The ransom note's unusual phrasing seemed staged. Why would a real kidnapper waste time writing a 2-page letter inside the victim's home? Some believe JonBenét may have died accidentally, perhaps from a violent outburst after bedwetting, and that the parents staged a kidnapping to cover it up. Others speculated Burke, the 9-year-old brother, harmed his sister in a fight, and the parents covered for him. This theory gained attention in later documentaries. Theory 2, the intruder. The other camp believed an outsider committed the crime. Unidentified DNA supported this idea. A broken basement window and a neighbor's report of hearing a scream that night fueled suspicions. A few suspects outside the family were investigated. One was Bill McReynolds, a local man who played Santa Claus at Ramsey parties. Another was Gary Oliva, a convicted sex offender who lived nearby. And in 2006, a man named John Marcar confessed to killing JonBenét, but DNA evidence ruled him out. Despite endless analysis, no suspect was ever charged. Every detail seemed to raise more questions. Why was the ransom note so long? Why was the exact amount tied to John's bonus? Why did police allow so many people to trample the crime scene? And whose DNA was found on JonBenét's clothing? Montage of TV news reports, tabloids, interviews. Narrator. The murder of JonBenét Ramsey became one of the most sensationalized cases in American history. The media fixated on her pageant photos, fueling debates about the sexualization of children. Tabloids printed wild theories, some accusing the parents outright. Others pointed fingers at neighbors, pageant associates, even strangers across the country. The Ramseys hired attorneys and gave limited interviews, but they refused to sit for police questioning under normal conditions. This only deepened suspicion. The case also revealed flaws in the American justice system. Leaks to the press, conflicts between the police and district attorney, and a failure to properly secure evidence in the earliest hours. The public became divided, Team Intruder versus Team Ramsey. Decades later, the case remains unsolved. Advances in DNA testing have been applied, but results are inconclusive. Investigators have considered using genealogical databases to trace the unidentified male DNA. So far, no breakthrough has come. Patsy Ramsey died of ovarian cancer in 2006, still proclaiming her innocence. John Ramsey continues to seek answers. Burke lives privately, occasionally surfacing in rare interviews. The Boulder police officially state the investigation is open, but progress has been slow. JonBenét's murder remains one of the most infamous cold cases in the world. JonBenét Ramsey was just 6 years old, a child with a bright smile, a future stolen, and a case that has never found justice. Was it an elaborate cover-up inside the home? Or a crime committed by an intruder who slipped through the shadows? After more than 25 years, the mystery remains. What do you believe? Leave your theories in the comments below. Do you think the Ramseys were hiding something? Or do you believe a dangerous intruder is still out there, unidentified? If you found this deep dive compelling, give this video a like, share it with other true crime enthusiasts, and subscribe to the Dark Case File TV for more chilling mysteries. Next time, we'll cover another disturbing case that remains unsolved to this day. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the darkest secrets never see the light.